After a few weeks of sitting on it, I've come to the conclusion that this movie is not as good as everybody has said it is. I'm in Salad and I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. It is directed by Sean Levy, written by Ryan Reynolds, and if you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This is my spoiler review. If you want to check out my first thoughts, look at this video right here. Look at it. Go click on it and do it. Otherwise, check out this video. On with the review. This movie starts with following Wade Wilson, and pretty much immediately he goes to the Logan timeline, digs up his antimanium skeleton that's just sitting there, and uses his skeleton to fight against a bunch of TVA people. And this is because he used the time travel. During the second movie, he used Cable's help and used this little time travel device thingy to do the time travels. Right? And we got a bunch of TVAs on his butt. They're like, yo, what's up? Why'd you do that? Why are you doing time things? And he's like, oh, is it because of Cable? And they're like, no, actually, it's not because of Cable. Issue 1 with this movie, immediately. I mean, this thing that I've just said doesn't happen like very beginning of the movie, but it's one of the problems that I have is that his motivation is not for Vanessa, because they're broken up for no good reason. Why did they break up? This movie doesn't really explain why they broke up for any good reason. Oh, we broke up. Oh, even though it was such a big character arc for us to stay together for the first 2 movies, you suddenly break up for no reason, and it's not really explained very well. But no, everyone's been distracted, including me when I first saw this movie. Everyone was distracted about the dark humor that reflected in this movie pretty much immediately with the skeleton thing. And the TVA's on his butt. They're like, yo, what's up? We need your help. You are not supposed to be here, okay? And there's a couple things that we need your help with, and Deadpool's like, nope. And so they send him to the Void. And to the Void he goes. Obviously, I've neglected to talk about the Wolverine part because it's quite obvious. He looks for Wolverine and finds a Wolverine. The Wolverine he finds is the worst Wolverine. What qualifies somebody to be the worst Wolverine? Isn't Wolverine pretty much bad already? He kills a lot of people. What could make him worse? Being such a coward, maybe? Is that the only thing that makes him different than the other Wolverines? And he just so happens to be wearing the suit. Amazing, cool. What a coincidence he found this guy wearing the suit. And so he takes the Wolverine, takes him to the Void, and they have a big old fight. There's this Honda Odyssey that they fight in, which is the best fight scene in the movie. But while they're in the Void, there's so many freaking references, so many freaking meta references, that if you watch this movie outside of today, outside of like a couple of years from now, outside of like 50 years, separate this movie 50 years from now. It would not be good because it's so freaking referential to things that are currently happening in the real world. You got the 20th Century Foxes in the Void just there, and I laughed and I was like, oh, this is cool. But thinking back upon it, I'm like, okay, cool, thanks for the meta humor. I mean, Deadpool is the one to do the meta fourth wall breaking. That's what I expect from his character, but this movie is literally just all of that. It's just so many freaking fourth wall breaks that at the point it's like, oh, this movie is just fourth wall breaks. There's not really much semblance of a plot except for what I sold you, which is they go to the Void, and there they meet Cassandra Nova, which is Xavier's long-lost twin in the womb that when got born got immediately sent to the Void because she's not supposed to be living. And her motivation is to take the time thing that the TVA has, and it's not really explained very well, but they have the time thing. She has the 2 touching, her hands touching the antimatter, the regular matter, and she's going to try to like fuse them together or something. So everybody gets sent to the Void so she can go over everyone. She can command everyone. She has ultimate power in the Void, and so that's her ultimate motivation. I'm like, that makes sense. But also, she's so powerful as a mutant. It makes me wonder, what powers does she not have? I mean, she has the Xavier powers, which makes sense. She can think what people are thinking. She can hear what people are thinking. But also she has some sort of powers where she can just lift her hand and then many forces go. I don't know what that's called. Telekinesis? Man, I'm really bad when it comes to power names. Please let me know what it's called. So she's there and she kills Daredevil, who was played by Ben Affleck, and Elektra in this movie. You know how Elektra likes Daredevil in the universe, in the Daredevil universe? Well, the actress and the actor got married and then divorced. And so there's a meta joke that Elektra's like, oh, it wasn't much of a loss, actually, that he died. I'm like, no, she wouldn't do this. This is just a meta joke based on the actor and the actress. And if you didn't know that this was a meta joke, then it wouldn't make no sense, because Elektra likes Daredevil, actually. Why is she like, oh, I'm glad that he's dead, without establishing that they have some sort of conflict going on between them? You didn't even establish that. Also, I should mention, now that they're in the Void, there's a lot of Daredevils, and I mean like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Daredevils, including this really ugly dog. The most ugly dog I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure that's a joke, but it's so gross that I didn't want to look at it. And it showed me like 3 times during this movie, this freaking dog. I'm like, this is the most ugly dog, just stop. You could have picked a better dog. I know this is a joke that you wanted an ugly dog, but so ugly that it makes me not want to look at the screen? Bro, come on. Well, anyway, so they're in the Void and trying to find out how to get the frick out of the Void, and it's all fun and jazz. They have a lot of conflict. Wolverine and Deadpool fights a lot, and then it's resolved with no clear reason as to why it's resolved. It just is. And then, oh my goodness, they meet a bunch of Deadpools, and one of the Deadpools is Nice Pool, and Deadpool is like, yo, you can't break a fourth wall. He's like, I'm gonna show you. I'm Nice Pool, and I'm gonna show you that I can too break the fourth wall. And then he looks at the wall and he says a Ryan Reynolds movie that I forgot because I haven't seen a lot of Ryan Reynolds movies, but he says it. It's just there. And then he looks back at Deadpool again, and I laughed at that part. How they even get out of the Void in the first place is that Deadpool convinces Cassandra Nova that it would be for the good of them if they got out of the Void, but also she's trying to push things to get there. This part wasn't explained very well, because why is she helping them out? Why does she have a sling? Oh, because a Doctor Strange came to her? Okay, that makes sense, but she has a sling and it can get out of the Void, which makes me wonder, how did nobody else find this sling? Is it in some sort of drawer that she keeps hidden or something? It just kind of appears out of nowhere, and it's just so very convenient. It's like, oh, thanks for the plot convenience. I guess we'll just have to get out of the Void. And we got out of the Void, and it looks like we got some help from Cassandra. And also they have an appearance of X-23, and she's here. She's talking to Wolverine. She's like, oh my goodness, that's Wolverine. I can't believe it. We're having such a lovely time together. Man, I missed you back in Logan. And I'm like, wait, hold on. So you're talking about how you missed him, right, from the Logan timeline, but you're now here in the Void. What did you do? What did you do to get here in the Void? What anomaly did you do to get here? She's from Logan too? Wow, way to just like have a character exist. Great, amazing. Oh my god, it just seems like towards the second half of the movie, it's just cameos, meta jokes. Also, there's a lot of cheesy lines. Wolverine's like, let's freaking go! And I'm like, this sucks. I hate looking at this. And also, this happened a few times throughout the movie, and I'm like, man, this sucks. Please stop. This seems so forced. You got the meta humor, and then you also got the forcing people to be together and forcing, quote, cool action shots, and it's not really cool when you start a scene where it's like, I'm Wolverine, bub, and this is how I talk. I'm gonna get you, right? And I'm like, oh, fucking Christ. Okay. Can you make something that isn't so freaking cheesy? Holy diggity dang. Alright, so Deadpool and everybody else gets out of the friggin' Void. Cassandra Nova gets out of the Void. She's doing the thing. I'm gonna get you. But they stopped the device in time. I'm like, how does this device work? Antimatter? Regular matter? And they're almost about to touch? The freaking 0% stableness for the sacred timeline. By the way, there's a whole sacred timeline thing. This is how they get around the whole Kang thing, is they force it in this movie. They're like, oh, we got the sacred timelines. Remember the sacred timeline from Loki? And then they have a fourth wall break. It's like, go watch Loki season 1, episode 5 to learn more about this. And I'm like, I've already did. Thanks, Deadpool and Wolverine movie. But they go to the sacred timeline device, and she's like, I don't want any sacred timelines. I want all the timelines to go to me. And I'm like, whew. So you're not going to touch upon the fact that if the timelines are no longer sacred, then all the Kangs are going to fight each other? You're not going to cover that? Because the actor, Jonathan Majors, I think? Because the actor got accused of a thing, and then it turned out to be false, but then you didn't give him the job back anyway. Great job, Disney. This just feels like a cover-up for that. Oops, we're gonna have a whole Kang Dynasty thing, but nope, we can't do that anymore. We're just gonna skip to the next thing, which is Doom. Galactus is the next logical step for that, because we're dealing with the frickin' Fantastic Four now. So there's that. I'm excited for Doom. I don't really care about this movie that much. It just feels like an excuse to put a bunch of references in. And you know, it's Deadpool. Deadpool does do the fourth wall break, but in the first movie, it's done well because it makes sense why he does it. He's explaining himself, you know, and then you got the real world that's happening in there, and he's the only one that could really do it. And of course, in this one, there's moments where he does the fourth wall break, but then people were like, wait, who are you talking to? He's like, okay, that's cool. I like that part. But like, it's not really got the same idea as Deadpool 1, and it's not executed well either. So it just feels like a lot of incestuous stuff happening. Hollywood incestuous stuff. When I say incestuous, I don't mean like brother, sister in the traditional meaning. I mean like industry incestuous, nepotistic. That's a better word. It just seems so freaking nepotistic. Everybody was there who enjoyed making the movie, and I like that they enjoyed making the movie, but it feels like their enjoyment of making the movie took priority over the plot actually making sense and having a lot of connected threads that come out to be a nice smooth thread at the very end. At the very end of this one, it just leaves so many freaking threads open. By the way, Deadpool stops Cassandra Nova. She's like, ah! And then she gets stopped. And then Deadpool is like, what am I gonna do now? I guess I'll just go around and I'll have a chat with these cool little Deadpools, I guess, and I'll have a nice little chat with this dog pool. And then they bring out the dog again. I'm like, freaking stop with the dog. Oh my goodness, this is gross. Normally I like dogs, but this is the most disgusting dog I've ever seen. It looks like a rat. And I keep bringing this up because I have such a point of contention with this dog. There's these freaking mosquitoes everywhere. Anyway, I'd rather get bit by a mosquito than watch this movie again because of all the self-references. It really works on the first time, on the first watch through. You'll laugh, ha ha, I wasn't expecting any of these jokes, ha 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 ha. And then the second time, it's kind of just like, oh, actually, now that I'm watching this again, where is the plot? Oh, there's some plot? Oh, where is it making sense? Not really, some parts. It just feels like a metafest. And with that, I'm gonna have to give this movie, I gave it an 8 the first time. But I have to reduce my score because it doesn't deserve that anymore. 8s are for movies that make sense and leave an emotional impact of some kind. You know, this is not that. This is a metafest. I gotta give this movie a solid 6.8 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The platform really likes that. If you want a fast track movie review, you can do that for $20 Redinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you like to help with the daily grindiness of all them daily movies, go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movies, so you can go here. And until next time, Unmin Salad Saw. I'll see you later, my salad croutons and bacon bits. Now, I'm gonna go into the void because I want to give Cassandra Nova a good old punch in the face. Whoop, bow, just like that. All right, adios.